never hear that on the news, but the scoop is this dude's involved.
Hello, fellow lovers of liberty. My name is Matthew Dalton.
And I'm Robert Wasman, and welcome back to the Journalistic Revolution. Today we're going to talk about the tragic events that happened in Libya and the resulting protests or related protests that happened in the neighboring countries around it. We're going to discuss videos that took place in Syria where there were... Well, we'll let the videos speak for themselves when we introduce them. And we're going to discuss how, as horrible as this tragedy is in Libya, it's a distraction from another subject, which we will discuss later.
In part 2 of this segment, we're going to be talking about China switching from using the U.S. dollar to their dollar. We're also going to be talking about QE3 and how that has affected not only the downgrade of the United States credit once again, but how it's going to affect the future.
The official story in Libya is that a movie was released. I believe it was called The Life of Muhammad or The Story of Muhammad, and it caused this reaction where embassies were stormed, and the one particularly in Libya where 4 people were murdered. They set fire to it.
Yeah.
And then, well, let's see here. So the people that were wounded, it was 8 Americans, some of them military, were wounded in the attack, which claimed the lives of Mr. Stevens, Sean Smith, an information officer, and 2 U.S. Marines. God rest your souls. All staff from Benghazi have now been moved to the capital of Tripoli, and those whose work is deemed to be non-essential may be flown out of Libya altogether. So 8 lives.
And there's a lot of different reports. I saw something else where Hillary Clinton was responsible for no Marines being on site, which I think that's funny they mentioned 2 Marines. Because from what I understood was there was no Marines on any of these embassy bases. They were removed totally. The only security forces that were there were Libyan soldiers.
Yeah, there was supposed to be only
Security
Libyan soldiers, but apparently there was 2 U.S. Marines. And also, the main story that we are trying to let people know that is not true, and this is going all over Facebook, I'm starting to see YouTube videos on it, that the Libyans stormed him because of this video, and then proceeded to sodomize and torture, and there is no evidence whatsoever. We're going to go over that. There's no evidence whatsoever that they were tortured. The pictures and videos that they are using to justify this are the pictures and videos of the Libyan Good Samaritans who carried him to the hospital.
And this is part of the propaganda machine that we're going to be talking about. And this is going on everywhere in Syria and other... Yemen and other Middle Eastern countries.
So here is some of the information the best we could find. This information comes from The Independent. It also comes from CNN, Reuters, and I believe the AP all chipped in on this. Thank you, guys. Okay, the killings of the U.S. ambassadors to Libya and 3 of his staff were likely to have been the result of a serious and continuing security breach. American officials believe the attack was planned, but Chris Stevens had been back in the country only a short while, and the details of his visit to Benghazi, where he and his staff died, were meant to be confidential. So now, according to This is The Independent, they're saying that how did people know he was going to be there? That's the big question. His visit there was supposed to be confidential, and no one was supposed to know that he was there.
Well, that goes under the assumption that the attack was based on the fact that he was there.
Well,
could it be that the attack was going on because it was just the U.S. Embassy?
Now, I'm not going to say who, but I have a friend who is privy to information, and he says that there is no information whatsoever to show that that the government had any prior knowledge to the attack. But all information since then has shown that it was planned, it was pre-planned, it was orchestrated.
Yeah.
Now, if he was going to be there or not is debatable.
Plus, we want to also point out, and I make this point because it's basically been proven at this point, but certain Middle Eastern states. I won't say which names because I'll get lambasted. But also the United States themselves have been funneling weapons inside Libya before the overthrow of
Gaddafi.
Yeah, Gaddafi. Yeah, and they continued funneling weapons even to this point. So you kind of get a little bit of I'm not going to draw any conclusions for you, but you can draw your own conclusions of what kind of implications that means.
And if you remember, if you watched our last show, we talked about how power holders have certain strategies, and one of those strategies is to deny that they even have an operative plan, meaning that, we're not sending weapons to Iran or anybody.
No, not to anybody.
According to senior diplomatic sources, the U.S. State Department had credible information 48 hours before the mobs charged the consulate in Benghazi, the embassy in Cairo. The American missions may be targeted, but no warnings were given for the diplomats to be on high alert and lockdown, under which movement is severely restricted. Again, like I said, I have it on high regard that there was no information that this was going to happen, but there is a lot of information out there that says that it was pre-planned. This, to me, honestly, in my opinion, sounds like them, because I think they're throwing Hillary under the bus for this. Yeah. And they're trying to throw this on Hillary, which, in my eyes, all it's trying to do is distract from the fact that why this happened, which wasn't the video, but we'll get into that later. It's distracting from the fact of why this happened, and it makes Obama look tough because Hillary, you screwed up and you're out of here, and slap your wrist, you bad girl.
Well, I mean, you really got to think who's in charge. A lot of people are going, well, this happened under Obama's administration, and this is all Obama's fault. Well, I'm not defending Obama.
I know.
No, so don't get the idea that I'm trying. Yeah, LOL. But I think what needs to be kept in the forefront here is whether this was pre-planned or not. It was awfully spontaneous.
It says here that senior officials are increasingly convinced, however, that the ferocious nature of the Benghazi attack, in which rocket-propelled grenades were used, indicated that it was not a result of spontaneous anger due to the video, called Innocence of Muslims. Patrick Kennedy, Undersecretary of the State Department, said he was convinced the assault was planned due to its extensive nature and its proliferation of weapons. There is a growing belief that the attack was actually in revenge for the killing in a drone strike in Pakistan of Mohammed Hassan Qaid, an al-Qaeda operative who was from Libya and timed for the anniversary of September 11th attacks.
And this goes, and for most of y'all are going to know this already, but this is for the people who might pick up our video, hopefully will pick up our video and understand this. Obama supporters, if you ask an Obama supporter, a staunch Obama supporter, somebody's just, and they don't even really do any kind of actual real research, they're gonna look at you funny when you tell them that Obama's been drone striking in Pakistan since he pretty much took office.
It's annoying too, because I protested the ever-loving crap out of Bush for the same type of behavior, and now that I'm not okay with Obama doing it, these people who stood shoulder to shoulder with me during the Bush administration are all like, yeah, but healthcare and abortion and stuff, gay people.
And that's a distraction, because really when it boils down to social issues in government, they really don't care. It's a distraction to get votes, and they keep pushing their foreign policy, and they distract you with these other issues while the man behind the curtain is orchestrating and doing his thing that you never see in the mainstream media. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and I bring those three up all the time because they're the biggest perpetrators. They don't show the truth. BBC, Al Jazeera, they're part of the propaganda machine, and you don't hear about what's really going on over there. But if you turn on RT television, or if you YouTube some of their videos, you will see a lot of the truth coming out about how we are intervening over there in fashion that would make most people sick. Makes me sick.
Also, this is a great point to bring up the videos. Well, first, we want to show you this picture. This is a picture that's circling the internet. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a screenshot of this from this is really horrible person posted, and she's using
can we say
it.
her name?
No, I don't want to say her name. I don't want to give her the free publicity. She posted this picture, and she's saying that it's the picture of the Libyans who attacked, dragging his street through the body while sodomizing and torturing this man.
When reality is that they were trying to save him by getting him to the hospital. And what they say, they worked on him for 90 minutes to try and...
Okay, actually, here, I will read this whole part here. Mr. Stevens, it is believed, was left in the building by the rest of his staff after they failed to find him in a dense smoke caused by the blaze which had engulfed the building. He was discovered lying unconscious by local people and taken to the hospital.
Yes.
The Baganzi Medical Center, where, according to the doctor Zaid Abu Zaid, he died from smoke inhalation.
No signs of sodomizing.
No signs of sodomizing. I cannot find a single freaking news article out there that has a confirmed account of sodomizing or torturing. It's frustrating.
And then she claims to be a Christian, and then she's spreading these lies, this propaganda lie that the Libyans sodomized him and dragged him through the streets to show him off. And when reality is, and this is the part that frustrates me as a Christian.
We tried to correct her too, civilly, politely, and with links and facts.
And she blocked us both, which is funny because on her real Facebook page she complains about getting blocked by Facebook.
Yeah.
But then she turns around and blocks us. But the truth is I'm a Christian. And the stuff that she's spreading, claiming to be a Christian, is propaganda and lies, and basically without cursing out liberals. Which, I mean, I'm not a big fan of liberals either, but
but calling everyone a liberal because they don't agree with you isn't. But here's the picture.
That's true too.
Okay, here's the picture, guys. Take a look for yourself and decide for yourself if she should be using this to politicize her base. Now, it's a horrible picture. It's bad enough that
it's a beautiful picture. It's a beautiful picture of people saving a man. The caption and the lie and the propaganda is what's a terrible picture.
Now, also, this brings us, since we're on the subject of propaganda, we want to show you some videos that have been happening in Syria. Now, the first one is CNN.
I don't have them off the top of my head, but
the first one I believe was CNN, and what it was is there's this guy who gets used multiply across news articles.
His name's Danny.
Danny. This is him getting ready to have an interview, and you can hear him asking, "Do you want us to have the gunshots in the background?" And he waited there for over an hour and a half to do this interview. And
asked for a mattress.
Yeah, asked for a mattress, joked around, and then act like he was in the middle of a war zone when they finally interviewed him.
Now, Danny is of Syrian descent, but he lives in London, and he is a news reporter, I believe, for CNN, on location, basically, in Syria, and I'm assuming they use him because he is of Syrian descent and can probably move very freely in there. So take a look at the video.
Here it is.
You say there could be as many as 200 dead just in the last hour or two?
We have 200 dead in the last 3 hours. In the first half an hour, we've got 40 dead. In the first half an hour. And we got the video up on YouTube. خلاص خلينا نشد معناتها. جاهز الهدف؟ اضرب. لا اضرب.
طلع علي، طلع الكاميرا. في أبنية نازلة عم كل شيء اللي عم ينقشوا الجنس.
Yes, I can hear you, great. What's been happening, right? They've been bombarding an area in Homs called Khaldi for like 3 hours.
How random is this mortar fire? I mean, are you saying that they're just indiscriminately firing mortars into neighborhoods?
In the cities, in the narrow civilian streets, on rooftops. I just went an hour ago. I just went on a rooftop to get civilians. The street is right next to me, like 400 meters right over there. I went and picked up 4 civilians who were burning in the house. A mortar bomb came right on the rooftop of a civilian house.
Now, as you can see from that video, he waited inside that waiting for that interview for like an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cut down, of course, but he waited forever and then behaved as if there was a war going on around him.
When reality is there was no war going around on him. And in another part of the video, it shows Danny, and I don't know how this video leaked, but it's basically like part of the video of them setting up or just finishing the scene of like a mass killing. And basically what this guy's saying is that the Syrian army is killing its own civilians, bombing and mortar rounds, just continuously doing mortar rounds on its own civilians. And if he shows this video of mass killing, and it's either the pre or the post, but there's people like standing up, they got blood all over their face, and the guy's showing the peace sign. They got one guy is flickering his eyeballs while he's laying there supposed to be dead. I mean, it's like, it's very...
It's completely staged. There's no other way to describe it. It's completely and utterly staged. And they're feeding that to these people that I'm going to read from you in a minute that are taking this and they're just filling themselves with hatred. And it's sad.
Well, take a look at the video and let us know what you think.
This next video shows snipers in Syria again, I believe.
This is in Syria, and the reports have been coming out that it's CIA, Mossad, and MI6 are sneaking into Syria on top of rooftops and sniping civilians. Now, these are Syrians coming out with these videos from inside Syria. This isn't like guys over here in the United States that are protesting the war and coming up with it. These are Syrians trying to get the message out through YouTube portals that they are just fine. 22 million people in this country, maybe 100,000 disagree with their current president and their current state.
Perfect example is this picture. And this picture. Those people are mad. As a matter of fact, they're appalled and saddened that their people, and you know I used the collective term loosely, but their people are capable of such things. But in this video, it shows that this may not be their people. I'm not saying this is happening in Libya. But this definitely happened and is happening in Syria.
And what this video is going to show you is going to show you snipers on roofs. They're showing video of snipers on roofs, and it cuts to where they catch the snipers. They open up the box, there's a sniper rifle, and there's like 3 men on the ground. And when they finally get the camera stable enough, they turn one man's head. And I'm sorry, but I don't think I've ever seen a man. Well, I mean, there's probably a few men.
He's white.
He's white.
He's white. I mean, you don't get much whiter. He could have.
He looked like me without my mustache and goatee. He's a big white guy, and you don't live in a country like that and get fat.
And all three of them, you're telling me 3 albino Syrians are staging a terrorist activity out and sniping people from rooftops?
Rooftops, yeah.
No. And the guy doesn't even have an accent when he's speaking. And here's the video. Whoosh. That's just another example of Contras and what we spoke about in our last episode about a operative game plan and versus a public game plan. You know, they're saying that we're supporting these oppositions. One, we're supporting Al Qaeda, who is the opposition in these countries, and we're not only supporting them, but apparently we're getting it started because, you know, they're not moving fast enough for us. And it's a horrible example of more innocent people being killed in the name of profit.
And that's what's kind of, and I don't mean funny in a ha-ha way, but more of an irony.
Cosmic irony.
Cosmic irony kind of way. In Syria, they're failing. They have tried to start this uprising in Syria, but because the current president, who actually agrees with the people that there needs to be fundamental change, there's so much outcrying support for him, up to like 22 million population. So a small faction of the people will disagree with him, that they cannot get anything started like they want to. It's kind of funny in my mind.
But the next video I want to discuss is, where was this? This one was in Libya, right?
No, this is in Syria.
Syria again. The BBC shows up in Syria and tries to interview some of the locals. And they get rather upset, saying that the news around the world, including BBC and even including Al Jazeera.
No, Al Jazeera.
Yeah, whatever. They're spreading lies. They're like, we're not like this. And
the funny part about this is these guys are trying to tell her that the media is lying, but she keeps acting as if they're accusing her of lying. And she goes, "Well, I just got here. I've not been here." And it's like she's trying to make them look like they're stupid and don't know what they're talking about.
So
and
of
she
course
brings
they
up,
went and found Danny.
and they bring up, and she brings up all the videos all over, you know, all the news reports and everything. It's like they're basically telling her they're basically trying not to talk to her. She keeps forcing it, and they are telling her that the media, the Western media, mostly our own and other international medias, are lying. So here's a video.
You don't like BBC?
BBC كله
Why?
سيء لا يعني BBC سيء.
Because you are talking very bad about Syria. You are not telling the truth
But
about
you know
Syria.
what? This is the first time I've been able to come to Syria.
No, why
My
before you
first
didn't
visa.
come? Why before you didn't come?
I didn't have a visa.
No, why you didn't get the visa?
We've been waiting for a visa to
No,
come to tell your
it's not
story.
correct. Everybody can come to Syria and get visa.
It's not true. Fadi is here. We can ask Fadi.
No, it's not correct.
Well, there's no journalists who come to Syria.
No.
Well, tell me what your story is then. What do you think? What is? Tell me what
Okay,
the.
finish.
No, but tell me what you think is. What is the lie that's being told? What do you think is not
You
being
lie
told?
because you are talking truth, not truth about the Syria.
So
Syria
what is
is
the
very
truth?
quiet.
What is?
The truth is nothing we have in Syria. Syria is very quiet. And everybody in population in Syria loves our president, and we support the president. But you are talking the very lie about Syria.
Well, I didn't lie. It's my first day here.
No, you are lying because everybody here, population 23 million person from Syria, love Bashar al-Assad and support Bashar al-Assad.
But I'm not making it up. There are pictures of
No,
protests.
you are.
But there are pictures.
Your advertisement like that.
But if we see, yes,
No,
there are people like you who
you are
support-
liking, you are telling like that.
But
Everybody when BBC Arabic, he can hear the lie about Syria. Al Jazeera and Al Arabiya.
But what is it? But maybe Syria is like any country. Some people support and some people
No,
don't
everybody
support.
has support.
So Syria is
And
different.
there is very little people. Maybe 10,000 like that. But the most of people, 22 million, 23 million person support Bashar al-Assad.
But even the
and we have not demonstration, we have armed gangs.
But even the president said there needs to be some change.
Yes.
He did say that.
Change.
Yes. He said there are some legitimate grievances.
He is always doing to make that change.
Yes.
He's trying always to make this change. So is it we support him? But you are telling the lie about this Syria. Now finish.
Mr. Bashar Assad for very good and very kill.
But you have to know,
very good, and I like
Just listen, I want to tell you something. Now you are representing the BBC, yes? You have to know you are working in BBC and all people that they are working in Al Jazeera, Al Arabiya, that everybody in Syria, population of Syria, they know, very pretty sure that you are lying. This is the most important.
More distraction for you folks.
These next two subjects, and we're going to end the discussion about what happened in Libya. Now, just to recap real quick, they're saying that he was tortured and sodomized, that he was dragged around in public, and that this was all because of a video depicting Muhammad. Now, we now know that this is not the truth narrative, that these people found him and dragged him to the hospital, damn near saved his life. Almost, and thank you guys for doing so. Yep. Then other supporters came out for pro-American rallies, but we're not hearing much about that. We showed you the pictures. And that that this was pre-planned. And so it's a horrible event that's happened.
Yes.
And it's sad that they're using it to distract from other things that are going on. Oh, also, I wanted
a little bit extra on the whole Libya. This is kind of...
These are all the embassies that are right now being protested. Now, I do want to be truthful here and say that most of these protests have been violent through being provoked or through, just mob mentality. But there is one protest first that I want to point out that is being completely civil and peaceful, and it makes occupiers look like rioters. It is in Baghdad, Iraq. They're peacefully gathering around the embassies and showing en masse that they no longer want us there, even our diplomats. But also we have these same types of protests and violent protests happening in embassies in Tehran in Iran, Tel Aviv, Cairo, Khartoum in Sudan. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Sana'a in Yemen, Tunis in Tunisia.
No, it's Tunisia.
Tunisia, and Casablanca in Morocco.
You missed. That's in Libya.
And that's
Gaza,
and there. These are happening all over the place. Now, the Bush administration, the Obama press secretary Jay Carney.
You notice his last name's Carney? Carney's short for carnival, in case any of you were wondering.
Or slang term for somebody who works at one.
Yes. Which we believe that Jay Carney does work at a carnival.
On a carnival. It's a circus, that's for sure. The multiple embassy attacks today are not protests against the USA.
Just like smoking pot will not get you high.
Well, I got to agree with Jay here. He's absolutely right. They are not protesting against the USA. They're protesting against our leaders.
I think I can honestly say I agree with that statement.
They're not protesting me. I don't see them out there with anti-Robert signs or anti-Matt signs or even anti-America signs. They're burning effigies that represent our government, and they're mad at the people who are placed inside their sovereign, free countries.
And this goes along with the narrative that the United States foreign policy is severely flawed in its belief that they can just overthrow current regimes to put somebody in place that they want there in order to get what they want. And then when that regime turns around and tells the USA to go...
from Nixon to present day.
to stick it where they don't, then the United States goes in there and they cause another uprising through back channels. Well, I didn't just say that out loud, but you get what I'm saying. You can draw your own conclusion, folks.
Yep, and again, we're going to point out real quick that we've noticed that a lot of people will believe anything if you say, just go look it up. Say, hey, did you know that milk will kill you? Seriously, Google it.
Google it.
And people will believe. But when we say double check our information, look at our videos that we post, look up the articles and stuff like that, please do. But understand also where you're getting your information, and please try to get it from more independent news organizations, or get it from the source instead of through the talking heads of the media.
Really, the kind of the purpose of bringing up Yemen, Syria, yes, it is very tragic what happens to anybody who passes
Anybody
away.
Dies. Anybody. No life is greater than another.
We're not making light of the situation, but what we're trying to point out is, one, the distraction of it, because we're going to cover what it's the distraction of.
What's been happening behind all of this.
Behind the scenes. And the propaganda machine that we're trying to make you guys understand, and this is the purpose of the journalistic revolution. Look for the real truth. And so that's kind of where we were going with Syria and Libya. It wasn't just to report the facts, which is very important, and that's what we want to do, but to open up people's eyes to the truth.
Ask different questions.
And please, by all means, research us.
Why did this happen?
Yeah.
And we know it's not a movie, especially if it's premeditated. The movie didn't come out. Nobody knew about the damn movie until after it happened.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't even hear about the movie until today.
Even a lot of people who are being interviewed in these other countries are like, well, I didn't know about the movie. This is because, you're bombing our people. But anyway, now the reason that the official story is dangerous is because I've highlighted some comments here.
Remember that girl we told you about?
The horrible person?
That was spreading propaganda. We're going to read some of the comments.
From that picture that we showed you.
Where they basically were stating that they were dragging the bodies to the street to show them off.
All right, now this is from the person who actually runs that page. Says, so don't you dare come on here and toot your damn liberal horn about how this is not Obama's fault. The man is president, and as president, it is his job to secure and ensure the safety of Americans in harm's way whenever and however possible. Does that include martial law and NDAA and detaining our people?
Yeah.
Not to skip out on intelligence briefings and go play golf.
Oh, I don't even know where to start.
I don't know how this is Obama's fault. I mean, I understand they're going to play politics, and they're throwing Hillary Clinton under the bus right now.
It is completely Obama's fault. It's not just Obama's fault. She's trying to say that it's completely Obama's fault because it lies under his current presidency. But let's dig back of 20, 30 years of failed foreign policy of the United States sticking their nose in other people's business, and then you want to turn.
Oh, and this failed policy apparently skipped the Bush administration.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it skipped the Bush administration.
And also, for you damn liberals who are too damn stupid to think for yourselves.
Critical thinking.
Yeah, it wasn't Bush's fault for 9/11. That was due to a direct result of the failed policies of Clinton.
Now, let me break in here because there's more to this. But, one, failed policies of Clinton, they're going to go on to say about dismantling the military. Look, 9/11 was failed on many, many, many points, but to say that it was because he dismantled the military is just stupid, because it scrambled jets, okay, folks?
Sent them in the wrong direction.
Sent them in the wrong direction, but that's not, we were lacking forces.
Well, and it's not only that. If you took half our troops home from overseas and put them here, I dare another country to attack us. We're just... Anyway, she goes on to say, he dismantled our military just enough to permit that to happen, and Obama is doing it again right now. So unfortunately, what you can't see is that your president is our enemy, and after he is removed, the next president will most likely deal with another such 9/11 event due to Obama's failed policies. Y'all are just too damn stupid.
Now, Obama's dismantling our military. Really?
Last I checked, that's growing.
Yeah, last time I checked, we've kind of expanded our military force across the world.
Well, I mean, we're still in Iraq as much as they say, the war's over there, but we're still there.
We're still in Afghanistan.
And we're bolstering Afghanistan. We are sending more troops to Afghanistan. Several of my friends in the armed forces are doing their second to third tour there.
I'm sorry, but let's stick with the truth, folks. Let's stick with the truth. The truth is this is failed foreign policy across the board, Democrat, Republican.
Here's some more thoughts. I'm going to read through some of these pretty quickly because they're short. But here's some more of the mindset that this propaganda puts into people's head and encourages this type of hatred. We don't need this type of a religion. God. Now, I'm not sure if this person is saying we don't need any type of religion with God in it, or he's trying to attack the Muslim religion. But
actually,
this same person will tell you that we need to go back to the founding principles of America. And the founding principles of America is the right to believe whatever you want, the right to religion. They were planning this attack, and it has nothing to do with the movie. That person actually was the hate-speeching monger, warmonger, who apparently had a moment of clarity. So... It's so sad Barack's do-nothing weak lead from behind politics has made the U.S. easy target, just like Jimmy Carter all over. He is undoing every great thing Bush built.
Oh, okay. One, the grammar in that just screams...
intelligence.
Smart Republican. Those stupid liberals and those smart Republicans. Look, I'm not defending liberals, but I just crack up when I hear... conservative Republicans claiming that liberals are so stupid, but then you watch the way they spell it.
There's no such thing as a liberal or a Republican. There are free people, and then there are not.
Yeah.
And these people aren't free.
They're not free.
We should have never let that exploitive deletive for a president. Come on, man. This is America, not Africa.
By the way, the expletive deleted started with the letter N, so use your imagination, folks.
Yep. Intelligent people there. Probably giving Christians like myself a bad name.
Yes.
Obama took an oath to office on January 20th, 2009, and that obligates him to protect this man.
Yes.
That one. Just that one. And he failed.
He failed.
Apparently.
Not the thousands of soldiers who have died overseas.
Or the children.
Or the children in Pakistan and other that have been drone striking. Or the hundreds of soldiers that are coming home and committing suicide on a weekly basis.
What was it, 28 last month?
Oh. And not the children and the families that are left in the streets across this country due to failed policies here in the United States. But no, that one man. Now, I'm not saying that his death is any less tragic. What I'm saying here is when you put the focus on one man, what are you really teaching people? What kind of message does that put across?
The point is logic invalid, argument over.
There. Thank you for making my point.
Yeah, and okay, now this is back. Now someone stated that one of her friends on this page, or somebody who likes her page, because apparently if you talk against her, she'll block you. Mm-hmm. But this is from the lady who runs the page. Someone said that you should take this picture down. It would be really hard for his family to see these pictures. And this is her response. This is her Christian, conservative, compassionate response.
And remember, when we jumped on there and tried to tell her that this picture was false.
And give her links to show her.
And gave her proof that the pictures were false. And the heading was... Well, the pictures weren't false. The heading was false. She's the same person who accused us of being liberals and that we were dumb. So we're dumb enough to check our sources and actually research things. But
and then deleted it and blocked it.
Deleted it and blocked it. After, and then you go to her regular page and she's upset that Facebook threatened to block her.
This picture on here had to be hard for his family to see. Are you freaking kidding me? Or no, are you freaking out of your mind in capital letters? Mm-hmm. This man's dead body was missing for 8 hours. They sodomized this man, and God only knows what else, all the while parading his body around in the streets. They did that, which we know not to be true.
Yes.
At least, well, the sodomizing, I'll give you, there still has not been any evidence one way or the other. Mm-hmm. We did not do that, and no American took this picture. They did. We are sharing this so that you'll open your damn eyes and realize what we are up against. This man's death will not be shoved under the carpet merely because it is too hard for your little bleeding heart eyes to see. Wake the hell up.
I so bad want to give her name.
Okay, first off, we know that she's just spouting fake facts. She's just making up an argument that already supports her conclusion.
Which, without any real research, anybody can come up with a conclusion.
I want to say this to this person, and I hope you watch this video. I really do. I'm going to post it on your Facebook. I really hope you watch this. You know how we could have prevented this from ever happening? If we were never there.
Simple.
And
then they did exactly what we knew they would all do. In fact, I believe Ron Paul predicted this.
Yeah.
Back in 2011 after they overthrew Gaddafi.
Talked about the blowback.
And blowback on all of your extensive research and your propaganda. I'm hoping you're going to watch this. And anybody who else who's watching this, please understand what I'm saying. Research.
Everything.
There are so many ways to find the truth.
It's right here.
I gotta get myself out of this town, and I don't know where I'm going, where I'm gonna be found. This time's for sure. I gotta get up, get out, and get down. This I know. I'm sick of waiting lately, laying around. This